So the Monster Hunter Wilds beta took place recently and it was an absolute blast to play through. Exact same build that was presented at Gamescom back in August of this year, and while some might be disappointed with the fact, it couldn't be further from the truth for me. I've already touched upon this demo in my previous Gamescom video, but even so, my excitement to try this beta out was no less present. Given that Gamescom was packed with people, every single person playing the demo there was on a very short timer, severely limiting the amount of content they could experience. Not having any time to limit my experience this time around, I actually took my time with the game's features. The character creator is varied enough to keep people tweaking their characters until they finish crafting their perfect avatar. Even I ended up spending about 30 minutes in the creation process since I was curious about all the bells and whistles the game lets you play with. You've got presets that offer you a fast, good-looking character to immediately start your adventure with, or to serve as a starting point to your customization. You'll be able to finely tune your character with myriad hairstyles, makeup options, scars, mustaches, and beards, and so on, and if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty details of your character, there are slides galore that will let you tweak even the most minute detail. There's also the option of selecting the voice of your character, which you can then modify to sound either higher or lower pitched according to your tastes. You can even change the overall movement style of your character, even if there are only 2 options in the entire game. Maybe some new styles will be available later down the line via DLC. Once your hunter is good to go, you're gonna have to do the same thing for your palico, your ever-present feline hunting companion. Aww. Thankfully, I fell in love with one of the presets available due to how sneaky and mischievous they looked, so I managed to not spend another half an hour in the character creator. Considering that I skipped the cutscenes when I played the demo at Gamescom, I was very curious to actually sit down and watch the story unfold before me this time around. I've heard beforehand that your character and your palico now have an actual voice in the game, but I was unsure how to feel about it. Seeing the character I took the time to shape come to life in cutscenes and have a voice of his own sent a pleasant jolt through my brain that reminded me of the old times I played the God Eater games. Contrary to God Eater, where your main character was mostly silent throughout the game, only letting their voice be heard in the most climactic of moments, Monster Hunter Wilds lets your protagonist talk freely in every cutscene. I'm still a bit iffy about palico voices though. The reason for that is that I don't think there is a human voice in the world that can satisfactorily convey the cuteness of a palico's cat-like speech.
I fucking hate this world and these human worms feasting on its carcass.
However, I will admit that being able to hear and understand what the palico is saying in the heat of combat without having to read subtitles can be quite the lifesaver. Anyway, we take on the role of a promising hunter that is assigned to a new expedition to a land that the guild thought to be uninhabited for years. The reason for this expedition is the discovery of a small boy named Nata that managed to escape from a monster attack. It seems that he's a part of a clan of people called the Keepers, and they live in that uninhabited land. It's on this expedition that we begin our journey and find the child running from a pack of rampaging Balaharas. We do our heroic hunter thing, save the child, find her brother, save him too, then reunite them back at base camp. With this done, the wilds open up to you and you're free to explore. It seems that we might be getting a more fleshed out story in this newer entry into the Monster Hunter series than what we might be used to. I would even venture out to say that there's a chance the story might have a darker tone to it due to the promotional material showing Nata seemingly having a desire for vengeance against the beast that attacked its people. All I can say is that I'm completely on board with what I've seen up until now story-wise. First thing I discovered when it comes to gameplay is that I completely suck at keyboard and mouse controls. Normally I'd play with a controller, but considering the addition of the focus mode in Wilds, I decided I'd be more accurate if I just used the mouse. Joking aside, I'm happy to see that it wasn't just my imagination last time I played the demo. The hunter actually feels much more mobile in Wilds when compared to previous entries. Sprinting and turning doesn't feel as clunky as before, it actually feels tight and responsive, a feeling that is only amplified with the addition of the focus mode, which will easily allow you to reposition your character mid-combat. I cannot even begin to recount every single change that was made to the game with Monster Hunter Wilds, but you can bet your bottom dollar that most of what you knew from Worlds or Rise might end up thrown out the window. Sure, you may still have your basic moveset for your weapon, but even those have seen some changes. The best example that I can give is for the longsword, since that's what I like to play back in World. There's an additional third attack to your main combo. The Spirit Gauge now lasts for 50 seconds once you reach the red state, which can then be increased to 60 seconds with attacks. There's an extra special attack available after you use your Helmbreaker, which consumes an extra bar of your Spirit Gauge that looks like it's straight out of an anime. There's even a new charged attack that you can use to charge up your Spirit Gauge to the next state. All of these new changes to how the longsword works feel great, and I haven't even covered all of them. My point is, whatever your weapon of choice may be prepared for some fun changes and additions to it. Like whatever this attack chain is with the gun lance. The new focus mode is a most welcome addition because it allows you to easily aim or change the direction of some of your most heavy-hitting attacks. Ever had trouble aiming your true charge slash due to the boss moving slightly to your left? Then worry no longer, since you can change the direction of your slash with focus mode while still in the attack animation. Aside from improved movement, focus mode will allow you to accurately hit wounds on a monster's body. These wounds are created by hitting a monster's body part enough times. Hitting these wounds afterwards with your attacks will net you increased damage. And if you perform a focus strike on a wound, then you'll consume the wound for quite a sizable amount of damage, as well as toppling the monster. Leaving combat aside for a moment, I was very impressed with how the game's overworld functions. Looks like there have been some quality of life improvements made to how players interact with the world. No longer do you have to start your quests from the main hub. You can run around the world, and if you see a monster you want to hunt, you can turn it into a quest. You can easily gather items while mounted, or even by using the slinger to gather from a distance. Other players can be seen running around the main hub, and it feels like the game is actively trying to match you with other players even if you started a hunt all by yourself. Even your handler is running around by your side, so you can easily access the quest board without having to fast travel back to base, and your mount allows you to keep a second weapon if you ever want to switch up your playstyle. I unironically think this is the closest we will ever get to having a Monster Hunter MMO, and if I let my imagination run wild for a bit, I would even hazard to say that Monster Hunter Wilds is a step in the direction of hunts of a much larger scale. Do I actually think that we'll see a Monster Hunter MMO? Realistically speaking, no, I do not. But I can't help but imagine it after seeing all of these changes being made. Since this is only a beta test, we are lacking a lot of features that should be expected from the main game. We don't have our Palico Gourmands to cook for us, we have no access to our blacksmith, and, of course, the story is stuck at a standstill. We hunt only for the fun of it now, since the materials we earn won't be carried over once the game launches. Considering this video is most likely going to come out after the beta ends, I hope you manage to hunt to your heart's content, because we are going to have to wait a long time until the 25th of February of next year. Personally, I can't wait till it comes out and consumes my life. For now, I'm gonna go back into the beta and try some more weapons. Also, I do want to apologize for the state of my voice. I'm kinda coming down with the sickness and not feeling all that well. But that's gonna be it for me. Let me know what your thoughts on Monster Hunter Wilds are in the comments below. Leave a like and a sub if you'd be so kind, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one.